Hello ladies and gents, welcome to the channel. So, as I always do, generally, regularly speaking, over on Mondays we take a look at the box office, we take a look at some movies that have released, recap on some major movies, so there'll be another video discussing Spider-Man, because that's absolutely killing it. But one of the other films, which released this week, this weekend, just gone, which was a star-studded cast, but has absolutely bombed, was the 355, which is the Jessica Chastain-led, also produced, I believe, if I remember rightly, film, all-female spy film, and it's absolutely bombed, in spectacular fashion, in fact. So I thought we would take a look at this. It's a Simon Kinberg-directed film, which he's produced some films, pretty middling, and the last film he directed, I believe, was X-Men, The Dark Phoenix. Which is terrible. So let's dive into this, ladies and gents. So, this is just a report by Deadline. And I think, we will take a look at the reviews in a moment. Because, Rotten Tomatoes is an aggregator, right? So, it's not the best website in terms of the overall opinion or anything like that. But if you look at the amount of people that they're aggregating reviews from, laughably small. And I think there's a wider discussion to be had here for this type of film. And whether it's worthwhile, Hollywood pursuing them anymore, and whether they're going to get the message, because they might. We shall see. But anyway, so the Simon Kinberg directed, produced, and co-written all-femme action movie, The 355, seemed like a perfect title for Universal. I think, let's be honest, Deadline thinking that this seemed like the perfect title for Universal just goes to show how out of touch mainstream media really is at this point in time. Deadline genuinely thinks that this film is the perfect title for Universal. No. Like, have you not been reading the room? Have you not been watching how these films have been bombing? But remember, ladies and gents, the consistent excuse has always been COVID. That's everyone's excuse for these films bombing. Yet, that's not the case when Spider-Man succeeds, eh? It's very comical, this. But anyway, so Deadline believes this seemed like the perfect title for Universal to acquire domestic on at 20 million. The movie fitting in its theatrical slate, which is about diversity and representation. Remember, this is a perfect title for Universal. A movie about diversity and representation, which bombed. Like, what is this telling you, right? It's not to say that films with a diverse cast or films with representation are bad, but, there has to be a balance across the board. You want a smorgasbord, as it was, a variety. And if this is the only thing we're getting, and you're seeing, 5'0" women throwing around 6 foot whatever, built like a brick shithouse men all the time, it becomes a bit stale for both genders, both sexes, men and women, are going to look at this and go, yeah, no, I've kind of had enough of this. Women also want to watch, a woman which is believable in action. Atomic Blonde, for instance, got beaten the living crap out of before she took down people. That's believable, because a woman would get beaten the living crap out of when going up against male counterpart spies. That's just basic biology. I hate to break it to anyone, but that is Anatomy and Physiology 101. But anyway, Deadline, after literally stating, oh, it's the perfect title for Universal, it's all about diversity and representation, then go on to slate. However, critics and moviegoers have detected a by-the-numbers action film, and that bad word of mouth is deep sixing the 355 with a 4.8 million opening weekend. Wow. 4.8 million. That is woefully small. Woefully small. So that's a third place, which, it's not exactly got, third place, but with 4.8 million, that's because there's nothing else out. If there was anything else good out, it would have bombed even more. Remember that. Now again, remember, ladies and gents, it's not just Omicron. McCovid. Always McCovid. But yes, word of mouth does have something to do with it. Critics at 26% rotten are saying to avoid, while CinemaScore is better at B+, but ComScore, Screen Engine's post-track is worse at 76%. And according to Intelligence, the 355's weekend box office translates to 360,000 admissions. That's real bad. In a whole of the United States, that's real bad. So anyway, Relish Mix says about the social media chatter, convo for the 355 swings mixed negative, as fans feel like they're being served a bit of a cliche cookie cutter action package in the spirit of Charlie's Angels, which is not what you want to emulate, because that bombed recently, or James Bond's Daughters with a diverse mix of kick-ass supercharged women. Fans of Jessica Chastain, Lupita Nyong'o and Penelope Cruz are super supportively cheering for success, but that doesn't matter because their fan bases are not that large. You have to appeal to more than just them, and you have to appeal to more than just third wave feminists, for goodness sake. Like, seriously, if you are spending millions on a film, you have to appeal to the majority. You have to. Otherwise, why are you doing it? Unless it's just a wash. It's just a money laundering, exercise. Like, for what is going on with Hollywood? Anyway, but again, Deadline love it. But amidst the COVID resurge, moviegoers are tapping their finger for Peacock or another streaming service drop date. Wrong. Absolutely unequivocally wrong, because people have been consistently going out to watch Spider-Man. So the title was a code name of the first female spy in the American Revolution and became jargon for a female intelligence agent. As Kimberg told us on Crew Call recently, star Chastain, who worked with him on his X-Men Dark Phoenix and The Martian production, approached the scribe filmmaker with the idea of an all-female spy ensemble. They reached out to Cruz, Nyong'o, Diane Kruger and Bing Bing Fan. Kind of sounds like it should be Bing Bing Fan Fan, shouldn't it? But never mind. Bing Bing Fan. With the pitch to make the movie... I'm sure someone will say I'm racist for that, but fuck you. To make the movie outside the Hollywood system so that they could retain fiscal ownership and authorship of the $75 million production. And sharing the pics upside in various percentages. $75 million you spaffed up the wall for that nonsense. Why? How does that film cost $75 million? How? How does Matrix Resurrections cost $200 million? What are you doing? Just spaffing it up the wall. Madness. It's got to be a wash. It has to be a wash. Yeah, no. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like, genuinely terrible, terrible, terrible. So, the 355, it's on a 17-day theatrical window and heads to PVOD very soon. So, I mean, it's not making any money back. Ever. Now, isn't it funny? The 355 in updated demos leaned 56% female, 73% over 25 and 40% between 25 to 44, but also 33% over 45. Still not a lot of money here. And diversity demos came in at 50% Caucasian, 21% Latino, and Hispanic, 17% black. Like, who... Does it matter? Does it matter? But again, they're always like, oh, you know, my bloody diversity. And look, this is the thing which I thought was funny. Was, you know, you can sit here and say, well, it's got 83% on audience score. That's only from 250 people. 250 people. Out of 360,000. Only 250, like, just over 250 people thought to review it. That's bad. That's real bad. That's a bad film. Like, how does this film cost $75 million? Like, it just begs the question, doesn't it? How does a film like this cost $75 million? And, you know, you're looking at 4.8 million opening weekend? I mean, that is so terrible. You know, but the thing is people have seen this time and time again. Terminator Dark Fate. Like, honestly, there are so many things now which... So many media productions that are out there that are like, this is the leader, this is the leader. And you're like, yeah, like every other one now. And people do, you know, I understand people want to see themselves. Sure, fine. You know, if that's where you get your validation in the world, no worries. But after a while, people get sick of it. You know, you do have to appeal to the majority. A third wave feminist wet dream about female spies is not going to sell to the masses. Sure, if you want to waste $75 million, no worries, mate. But you're not going to start, where's your next gig going to come from? If you're spaffing $75 million up the wall. It's not good business. You do have to appeal to the majority. Niche products are niche products. And so you shouldn't be spending such large sums of money on it. But anyway, we've got another video dropping on Spider-Man No Way Home shortly, which will indicate how to make a movie, I guess. Because that's just ballooning higher and higher. And it still hasn't opened in China. So let me know your thoughts on all this down below. Again, this is just more of an informative, but do you think the pendulum's swinging? Because I do. People are sick of it. People aren't even going to watch them now. Before people were sort of entertaining it, they're not even entertaining it now. Let me know what you think down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Check out my second channel. It's in the description box. You might like it, as well as Patreon and memberships. Thanks so much. Take care.